A few years ago, I'm in high school, right? And we go out to to a camp, a school trip, right? We go to a camp, we're doing whatever. I think I'm washing dishes or something in the camp. It was like, actual camping in a mountain. There's like tents set up and we're doing like the whole campfire thing, right? So I'm washing dishes after the campfire. We've just had dinner and the teacher who was with us, he takes pictures, right, to put on the school Facebook website, right? So he's taking pictures of everyone. Everyone's just doing what kids do, running around. And it was my turn to wash dishes, so I'm just washing the dishes. So we get back from the camp a few days after that, and the teacher obviously has posted the pictures on the Facebook account, right? There's this one fat kid who didn't even go to the camp, by the way. This one fat kid who was like supposedly my friend, right? We're in the same stream, we know each other. We sleep in the same hostel, right? He goes out of his way, he goes onto the school Facebook account where they've posted these pictures, and he takes one picture where I'm like washing the dishes, right? He takes that picture, he takes, you go on like WhatsApp or like Instagram, whatever, where you like edit out pictures. So he does that thing that way in editing out, he circles like my biceps with like this blue outline, right? So he circles my biceps and he posts it on his social media, right? I think it was like Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, right? The whole purpose of this entire post was just so that people could laugh at how skinny my arms were, right? So I'll put up the same picture. I screenshotted like time ago, and I'm glad I did. I'll put up the same picture, right? So you can see like why people were laughing, obviously, and why he went out of his way to do all that. Because like I did have super skinny arms. I was like super super skinny, like medically underweight at that point, right? I was a skinny kid. Sure, fair enough. I'll say it myself. I was a skinny kid as fuck, right? So now, a few days after this, so imagine like this happens on like a Monday. On like a Friday in the same week, there's a class pool party, right? So our class is having a pool party. There's like 30 of us kids in my class. We're having a pool party. They have like, just like normal pool party shit. Like they have like snacks. We're just chilling at the pool, whatever. And everyone is hopping in and out of the pool. But because people were laughing at me so much earlier in the week about like how skinny I was, and like they've just fucking had a laugh, right? They're like, this guy is so skinny. Look at his arms; they look like twigs. Like if you can see the twig, like there was a fucking like small tree next to where I was standing, and it's like people were like, is his arms the same, like fucking size as the twig next to him or some shit like that, right? So it's like everyone's at a laugh, rightfully so. Like, kids, they just make fun of each other, right? So fine, fine, fine. But at that time, right, I was the backlash of everyone just laughing at me was so great that when we're having the pool party, I went into the pool with my shirt on. I hopped into the pool with my shirt on. Right? That's how bad the backlash was, right? And it was on that day where I'm looking around, there's like these athletic kids around me, like the guys in my class. They have like kind of like nice genetics, so they have the abs showing already. They're kind of like a pretty nice physique, whatever. All the girls in my class are into them, like those 1, 2 kids. All the girls in my class are into those kids. And like I'm thinking, bro, I'm a funny guy. I have a great personality. I'm good at shit. I'm kind of good at sports. I'm kind of good at fucking art and shit. I'm good. Like, I'm a great guy overall, right? Great personality overall. But of course, no one gives a fuck, right? And it was on that day where I was like, you know what? I want to be one of those kids. I don't give a fuck. I want to be one of those kids where like people just like the girls just want me for the fact that I kind of have like abs and like nice physique and whatever, right? So that was like the first time I ever had that fire in me to go to the gym. A few like 2, 3 years passed by. I finally go into a gym, right? So I finally get a gym membership. This gym was like 30 minutes, 45 minutes from where I stayed, right? I finally get a gym membership. I go to the gym on the very first day, right? I'm so excited. Like you'd imagine how excited I was just as a kid who's come from like all this happening to him, right? People just laughing at him and whatever, right? And I've just like committed myself so much to actually changing this and getting a great physique. I'm so, so excited to go to the gym. I pay the membership and everything, right? I start off like doing shrugs, right? So shrugs at work, this muscle right here. the upper traps, right? That's what shrugs work. I've just watched like a video on like the 7 aesthetic muscles, which are basically the muscles that you need to train to build an aesthetic physique, right? So I'm working on my shrugs. I'm doing the upper traps, right? I'm super excited. You don't know how excited I was to finally be in the gym. This guy comes over to me, right? He's kind of laughing. So I see him through the mirror. He's kind of laughing, comes over to me. He's like, hi. I'm like, hi, I'm excited. I'm smiling. He's like, what's that for, right? He's asking what the exercise I'm doing is for. And I'm kind of confused because I'm looking at him. He's big. He's got like a fuck ton of muscle mass. And I'm thinking he's been in the gym at least like 5 years or more, right? So surely he should know that like fucking shrugs are to train the fucking upper traps. Like just put one and one together, right? But I tell him anyways, this exercise, I've seen it on YouTube, it's apparently meant to train like your upper traps and you need your upper traps to be aesthetic, whatever. He laughs at me and is like, go train fucking bench press. Go do bench press and I'll tell you what to do afterwards. I'm still that same skinny kid, right? So it's like I can't even stand up for myself. So I just like, fuck it. Let me go to bench press. I'm doing bench press. I don't enjoy it. The video that I watched previously of like the influencer that I'd been watching for some time says don't do bench press because you won't really build like the 7 aesthetic muscles. But I still do it anyways. I end up looking over at this guy and he's training with his friends and they're just doing like 1 rep PRs, right? So they're just like PRing, lifting as much weight as they can, right? I look at that guy and I'm thinking to myself, that's not the physique that girls actually want, is it? You have like a blocky torso, you look like a dad, you look like no girl actually wants that physique. Like not wants it for themselves, whatever the fuck, you get what I'm saying. And it's interesting to me because you're telling me what to do. I was doing supposedly the right thing. I wasn't sure at that time. Now I'm certain, right? And you're telling me don't train your upper traps, don't train whatever, right? And it's like, I was retarded to listen to this guy. I listened to this guy. I ended up just hating the workout. I ended up going home that day. I went to that gym a total of like 3 times, cancelled my membership, never went back, wasted money, whatever, fast forward, right? But now that I've been training these muscles for long enough, I've seen the results. I've seen how important it is to actually train the fucking traps, the neck, the 7 aesthetic muscles overall. I can say for sure, don't ever listen to this advice of people who tell you do bench press, squats, deadlifts, whatever. Fuck them, right? We're training for aesthetics. So what do we actually need? We need the 7 aesthetic muscles and we need to just fucking grind this out as best as we can, right? This is how you just build the aesthetic physique. Just trust me on this. You need to just grind them out as best as you can, right? So I'm going to take a guess here because I don't want to stretch this video on for too long. I'm going to take a guess here. You already know about training like fucking upper chest. You already know about training biceps. You already know about training like lateral delts. If you've watched my video, you know like all the 7 aesthetic muscles. If you've watched any of my videos. If you haven't, just go on this channel. I made a video like recently where I said, where I titled it like the 7 aesthetic muscles. And I basically do a rundown of all the 7 aesthetic muscles, why you should train them, how to train them, whatever, right? So like if you want like a more in-depth explanation of them, you can just go on the video and watch it, right? But in this video, I want to focus specifically on these 2 muscles, the upper traps and the neck, right? Because these muscles, right, they are the muscles where it's so uncomfortable for people to train this. Because like, first of all, let me give you an example for like neck, right? Neck is by far one of the most important muscles that you could possibly be training, and yet no one trains it, right? In my gym, I'm the only person who I've actually seen with my eyes training neck, right? Yet it's so important. Like, look at like the thickness of my neck right now. Look at like the size, the thickness, the development in my neck, right? There's so much like development, thickness all in my neck, and it just adds everything. It just rounds up the physique. It adds everything to the aesthetics. It adds everything to the attractiveness, right? Now, if I show you a picture of what my neck looked like before I started training it, I'll put it up here. It doesn't like. It's such an outlier that you can see that if I hadn't trained my neck, you can see right now, if I hadn't focused on training my neck, it doesn't matter how good I would have developed all the other muscles. I would still look like a skinny kid in whatever I wear just because of how skinny my neck is, right? That's how important it is for you to train neck, right? And from the top of my head, I can think of like 2 reasons why someone wouldn't actually train their neck, even though like I've just explained to you how important it is. The first reason I can think of why you wouldn't train your neck is that like just didn't know about neck training, right? So now you know like you need to train your neck. It's important for aesthetics. It's everything to round up your physique, right? No one is training it, but it's everything. That's like the biggest reason that I know people wouldn't train neck. It's just that like no one knows about neck training and no one knows how important it is. This is one of like by far the difference makers. If I went to the gym and suddenly got a slightly bigger chest, so like my chest is slightly bigger and like my biceps are slightly bigger, you'd notice, you'd be like, oh, here's a slightly bigger chest, oh, nice, biceps slightly bigger, nice, sure, those things help, those things like make a difference, right? But imagine if my neck was still as skinny as it was, like if my neck was like half as thick as it was, and it just looked like a stick holding up like a fucking lollipop. Imagine if that was the scenario. It doesn't matter how big my biceps would have gotten or like how much bigger they would have gotten in the next few months when I would train them. It doesn't matter how much bigger my chest would have gotten. I still would be like limited to how much more attractive I can get and how much better my physique looks. I'll still be so greatly limited because it's just such an outlier. When people would look at the physique, one of the things they would be drawn at immediately is just the thickness of my neck because it just stands out. It stands out because it's like if my neck is skinny and my whole physique is developed. And also, this is doubly more important because neck is one of those muscles where it's always visible, right? Like if you put on a t-shirt, you put on a hoodie, you put on everything, right? Your neck is always visible. If it's skinny, it doesn't matter how much more I develop these other muscles. It's still going to be a lacking factor. That's just dragging the entire physique down so much, right? And again, I'm going to take a guess here and say that you know about the other muscles, the 7 aesthetic muscles. So I don't need to like explain those in this video. But it's specifically things like neck because people don't know about neck training or if they know, they just choose not to train it, right? The other big reason that I thought of that why people didn't train neck, it's like neck is so awkward to train in the gym. It's so awkward to train because I can almost guarantee if you've done any sort of research in terms of neck training, the one exercise you've seen is like this exercise where you're doing this. You put like a plate on your forehead and you put like a fucking towel or some shit. You hold it here and you're just doing this. And it's like it trains these muscles, right? So you see like this part of my neck that goes up, the side part here, it trains that part, right? So like it's a good exercise, yes, but it's too awkward to do it in the gym. Imagine just lying there on your bench, you're doing your whole setup, you get a bench, you put like a fucking towel, you get like a plate, and you're just there for like time on end, just going like this. It's too awkward to train, right? So it's like, I understand why people wouldn't want to train neck. Like, in your mind, neck is an irrelevant muscle, right? So like, since it's so irrelevant, you wouldn't be bothered to go through all that trouble, especially when people will be looking at you because like, no one trains it and it looks so weird when you do it, right? That's one of the other biggest reasons I'll tell you. And like the quick fix to this, the quick fix that I found is that instead of doing that exercise for neck, what you want to do is this exercise that I do either on a Smith or a free weight squat rack, right? You just want to grab like a barbell on a Smith and you want to do shrugs. Like, you know how you'd do shrugs just like up and down for your traps like that? You want to do that on a narrow grip. So on a narrow grip, you just put your hands together on the barbell like that. And you just want to shrug up and down, standing upright, straight, right? If you do that, you're still going to train like these muscles right here, the side part of your neck, and you're still going to get the same results. So like that's the quick fix, the best way to get around this issue of like people looking, right? And if you do it, it's like some people train traps in the gym, so they'll probably know like you're training traps, but it's just that now it's a narrow grip, so like now you're training your neck. So it's like you've gotten around the whole issue of like people staring at you in the gym if you're training like doing the fucking. So that's the quick fix, right? The other big muscle is your trap. No one trains those, right? these are also muscles which are just like always visible, right? So like I can't emphasize it enough. I can't put it in like the perfect words for you. You just need to train these muscles because these muscles are like so neglected but so important for your overall aesthetics, right? Just the same way, like you can see me right now. You can see my traps. You can see like my delts. You can't really see my abs. You can see part of my chest, whatever, right? For some reason my physique just looks balanced and like aesthetic and like complete. For some, like it's like even if I move closer to the camera like this, right? For some reason you can just somewhat tell. You just know like this guy's got a good physique. Why? It's because like look, the traps, the neck, these muscles, if you train them and you actually intentionally do it, it just rounds up the physique so well that like your competition is zero. No one is training this. You're gonna get such a big advantage. You're gonna look so much more attractive. It's like these are the muscles that are just holding your entire physique back, right? So like I'm just going to keep like making videos like this, trying to just really push you to start training neck, to start training traps, right? Especially the neck, because I can guarantee you right now, every single person watching this video, no one trains their neck, right? Watch the 7 aesthetic muscles, train the other muscles, yes, but start training your neck, start prioritizing your neck, because this is the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference in your entire physique, right? And when you finally train your neck, you can remember I gave you this great advice. Maybe at some point, when I have a paid program, you can buy it and then you can thank me there. Anyways, this is the advice that I had for you in this video. Like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel.